What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Cigars and Everything Else. Man, forget this intro, man. Let's just jump into some cigar talk, man. Hey, this is number 55. You know,
55.
It's 55, man. Who we giving it to?
Hey, look, man, we can go a lot of, well, now I think I'll say a lot of different ways, but we got some names. I thought I had a way where I knew it was going to go, but I saw Junior Seau. Shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? RIP. Then it's the playoffs. Denver Nuggets. They're in the finals, man. The Dikembe Mutombo. You remember the scene?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
Go Dikembe Mutombo. Or we in the playoffs. I don't know if you know about this dude, Duncan Robinson. White dude with two black last names. We're playing for Miami Heat. Duncan Robinson, number 55. He balling too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The Heat are down right now, but it's okay. It's okay. We can go to Jason Williams. We can go with the Jason Williams, or we can go with the Jason Williams. If you know what I'm talking about, Jason Williams, or we can go with the Jason Williams.
Yeah. No. We ain't going with that Jason Williams. Shout out to him though, but nah.
Shout out to him.
Yeah.
All pun intended, but no.
Yeah. So, but man, that's a tough one.
I thought I knew I was gonna go with White Chocolate Jason Williams. I already had it in my mind, but I was like, let me pull it up. Forgot about Dikembe. I don't know how I forgot about 55 Dikembe.
I forgot about Jason Williams and I forgot about Junior Seau. You got me there. I kind of want to lean to Junior a little bit, man.
Really?
But,
Really?
There's a piece of me that want to, man. You know, that I got it take me back to my childhood there a little more than Dikembe did for a second, man. But I don't know.
Yeah.
In a way, you know what I'm saying? In a way, like, you know what I'm saying? Not completely, but
I say for the culture, which sounds weird. I'll go with White Chocolate though, man. I mean,
he said for the culture, it sounds weird. Yeah, it do sound weird.
My man was in one all day.
Yeah, I ain't mad at White Chocolate getting it, man. You know what I'm saying? It's the White Chocolate episode, man. Number 55.
Okay, I'm not mad with it. I'm not mad about it. Let's go with it. White Chocolate.
Man, unfortunately for him, this episode is I don't know what to expect of it, Jason. So, don't take it personal, Mr. Williams, if you like my episode stunk. But anyway, this episode, go ahead.
We might be surprised. Jason Williams, I'm sure when he stepped on the court, people were surprised that the boy was balling the way he was balling. We might get a analogy.
This could be a beautiful analogy for the Jason Williams episode. We may need to wait to the very end of this and then figure out who episode it is. Either way, it's going to be the Jason Williams episode, but we're going to figure out which Jason Williams is going to be by the end of this episode. So
let's do it. Hey,
what are we doing today that we're talking about? We are talking about today, which will be the infamous, notorious Brickhouse episode. And I expect nothing but greatness today.
Man, oh man. I tell you, like usually when I hit the cigar shop and I'm going to pick up my stick for the show, my show stick, it's an exciting time. It's an experience. I'm looking for something that's going to grab my attention. You know what I'm saying? Give me that good feeling inside. But today was the complete opposite. I went and picked up my cigar today, hit the cigar shop. My man came there and asked me, hey man, what you looking for? And usually I'd be like, I'm good. I'm just looking around. I was like, show me where your brick houses are.
Where were they? What shelf?
They were on the top shelf. The top shelf. I would have never looked in that direction. I'm glad I asked because I was looking. I can't even look at
packaging is. Look at how beautiful that packaging is. Why? That's top shelf, brother.
Top shelf.
That's top shelf.
I was going there. I was looking at the bottom off gate. I'm like, okay, I see Gurkha over here. Brickhouse got to be somewhere around here. My man said, oh, yeah, it's right up here. Okay. But quick scan of the area, trying to see, okay, all right, which one am I going to choose from? They only had 2 different choices. You know what I'm
I
saying?
wonder if we got the same one.
Maybe. You ready to introduce the stars of the show?
If you want to call them that, yeah. Let's introduce the stars of the show. In this week's episode, I got a Brickhouse classic. The classic.
Okay. The classic. All right. Well, I got a Brickhouse Maduro.
Smart man.
So I'm hoping with it being a Maduro, it'd be a nice ride. I don't remember the experience of the one I had years past. I don't think it was a Maduro. So I'm hoping I got something different from my experience years past. So we're going to see if it takes us down another ride. I will say I did look at the description of the cigar, and I was slightly underwhelmed. So it's like I just keep, nothing's really feeding me, and I'm trying to go into this with an open mind. Like we talked about, hey, let's go in with an open mind. Let's keep it clear and just see what the cigar offers. But it's hard.
For me,
it's hard.
Since we're talking about that, my specs are Nicaraguan rapper, Nicaraguan origin. And amazingly enough, this says this was a 93 rated and number 18 cigar of 2022. So
nice. I mean, that's actually some nice stats. I like to hear that. I like to hear good stats. But does the cigar match up to the stats? We'll see. With mine, I have a Brazilian wrapper, Nicaraguan origin, binder filler Nicaraguan. So okay. I'm not a Brazilian guy either. So me too. I am going to use the cedar spill. So I have my torchlight, but I'm going to go with the cedar spill. I'm going to give this bad boy the best treatment possible. What I am pairing my cigar with today, while we go ahead and light up, I'm going to go ahead and get into this. Really quickly, I'm going with a tequila. I'm back on tequila, man. Took a little bit of a break for a couple episodes, went with the whiskey for a minute. But I decided to venture back into the world of tequila and trying to find that tequila that's really going to give me a good hit under the $100 price point. And I went with the Cincoro Blanco. So MJ's brand. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, I was pleased.
What was pleasing about this Cincoro for you?
First off, I would say the nose of the drink, like right off the nose, really, 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 really good aroma, really good flavor, as it just as you're tasting it or as you're smelling it before the taste. That is probably the most pleasant piece of the drinking experience with this Cincoro. As you're sipping it, you're taking in those aromas, and it's kind of getting into your palate as well as you're getting your taste. I would say definitely around that Class A level that we've had, and that's probably been the best so far of all the tequilas I've tried under $100, from Gran Camino to the Avion to the Rocks brand. I can't remember what it's called. I've tried all of those, even the Don Julio 70 under $100, and it probably has the best nose out of all of those. And I really, really enjoyed it. I am drinking it straight up today, which I was kind of concerned whether drinking it straight up would kind of, affect the nose. And it's still there. It is dialed back a little bit, but it does make it a whole lot smoother. It's smooth from the jump, drinking it neat, room temperature, all of that. But even straight up, it's where we got a little chill on it. I'm enjoying it. Okay. So we're giving this Brickhouse a grand beverage of choice to go with the pairing.
So you was craving tequila, you back on tequila. For me, yesterday I was craving a I was craving something from Deadwood. You know what I mean? I hadn't had Deadwood in a few months. I was craving that.
Mhm.
So made the decision to go by the shop, grab me Deadwood. I'm in the Deadwood area. There are two gentlemen inside the shop before I arrive. It's the guy that works there, and it's a patron of the shop at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, trying to figure out which one I'm going to go with. And I hear somebody off to my right say, you ever had a Brickhouse before? I ignore it because I assume it's the worker and the customer talking to one another.
Uh-huh.
I continue my search and I hear, you ever had a Brickhouse before? I look to my right and on one knee on the bottom shelf going through the Brickhouse section, it's the most enthusiastic face I've seen on a cigar smoke in a long time.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Super excited about asking if I ever had a Brickhouse. I look at him and I say, it's been a while since I had one, but yeah, I've had it before. And you could just see him exploding with excitement and joy. And
like, tell me about it.
Not even that. Cause then I looked at him and I saw this energy coming out of him, this just excitement. I'm like, well, why? You know, I'm like, you had it before? He was like, yeah, it was my first cigar. And I said, I said, did you like it? And then I stopped him before he could respond. And I was like, well, you must have liked it because you're still here today smoking cigars. He's like, yeah, you're right. He was glowing down on his knees on the bottom shelf digging through brick houses. And he had about 4 in his hand. He was racking up on brick houses. And it just reminded me that, you know, that first experience with a cigar, you know what I'm saying, how big of a difference it can make in your life. Mm-hmm. And we talk bad about Brickhouse, but this guy was just jovial and glowing at his fondness for his first experience with. He lost his virginity to Brickhouse, and he just respects and loves Brickhouse. Like, and it
if
was
only he knows how much better it gets down the line. If only he knew.
Well, I didn't find out how long he'd been smoking for. So he could have been in the game 5-6 years. You know what I'm saying? Like 10 years.
But I mean, I will say this. Brickhouse is still on the shelf. The cigar lounges or cigar shops are still getting them shipped in. So they're going off the shelf. You know, like Alec Bradley's, we saw them disappear from the shelf for a while. I don't think I've ever not seen Brickhouse in a cigar shop. I can't say I've seen Alec Bradley completely disappear for a good period of time, but I've seen Brickhouse shrink, but I've never seen him not in a cigar shop.
Yeah, you know what? Same with Gurkha. It's funny you said there's only 2 options there. I don't recall ever seeing a lot of Brickhouse options in recent time. Like, it's just limited, man. And I actually need to get online and do some research and find out, is that production? Did they only, have limited how much they manufacture, or if it's actually more options, but the stores is only buying a few of them? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or maybe they're just deciding, hey, these are what the customers are buying, and they don't like the other ones.
Maybe that's what I mean.
Maybe this is the best of the best that they had, so this is what we're going to carry, because everything else might not be going. So we're just going to focus on the ones that are selling. So maybe.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I wonder which one of those 2 it is. If it's that, or if they actually only manufacture.
Yeah.
Options.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'll say this, and then we can move on.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't mad at it.
Yeah. To my first light?
Yeah. That's my first thoughts. I ain't mad at it.
Yeah. I'm there too.
If I was at the water and this was my first experience, I get why you would come back. You know what I'm saying? I get why you would give cigars another shot, is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Not completely turned off by it. Like, it's not like my wild experience, like saying, oh, this is great. Like, this is the best I've had, but I'm not completely turned off right now.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that.
Yeah, this is an experience where I can understand why someone would still be open to the idea of smoking cigars after this experience. But we'll get more into it later on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We got a ways to go.
Yeah. I don't want to be premature, but that's my opening thoughts. Hey man, I seen some information on the new Quattro port by Maserati, the 2024 Maserati Quattro port.
Talk to me about it.
It's coming out. It's going to be exclusively electric. The Quattro port will be an electric car moving forward.
Really?
I don't know how I feel about that, brother. I don't know how I feel.
Me neither.
There's a part of me that don't like that decision on Maserati's end, and it just makes me wonder, are they trying to be groundbreaking where they see this is the future? Like, hey, man, it's about to be that type of market. Get used to the electric world, or what?
I mean, like that's the only thing I can think of, because how for a car brand like Maserati, who their focus is on that engine.
Yeah.
That engine. That's your bread and butter. That's where you don't make your money with the tech. You don't like if you ever sat in a Maserati, they're not overwhelming with the tech. Right? We've looked at it before. We pulled up in one before, and it's not overwhelming with the tech. Where it makes its bread and butter is those fine details and that engine. That engine. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And for them to step away from that, that's kind of either they have to look at it and say, look, this is where cars are going. We're going to be in the forefront of it, so we can try to get a jump on everybody else. So we can be that staple in electric, not to say muscle car, but that same type of thing about them. But on the electric side.
That's those two statements don't go together, do they? Electric and muscle, you can't say that, can you?
Can't. But that's what I'm saying. Maybe they want to get a jump on it. To say if this is the way that that cars are going to go, let's get ahead of technology, get ahead of all the other cars in our class. And if we can make that same impact on the electric side before everybody else, then we'll be synonymous with, okay, this is electric, but this is the strongest electric engine. I don't know how they call it. Is it an engine anymore? But electric powered vehicle. We get that same feel. We get that same feel in a Maserati, but on the electric side. Nobody else is doing this. Not that I know of. So if they get ahead, then maybe that's where they're saying, okay, this is where we're going to make our staple. At least we're going to dedicate one of our vehicles. Quattro port? Come on. Maybe they should did it. Why not that one? Yeah. Take that one, dedicate that one to electric, and then work on your electric skills on the lower level. But that Quattro, you got to keep that tradition. To me, if you say what's Maserati's flagship, or what's their bread and butter vehicle, it's that Quattro.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel a way about them giving up the Quattro to electric. Not mad about them trying to jump and dedicate solely to electric. But why the Quattro?
They should have dropped a new line like everybody else do. Mercedes dropping. Mercedes is giving attention to the electric world. Audi's giving attention to the electric world. They all doing it, but they're not giving up their flagship for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Imagine Mercedes said
when you heard that news.
Yeah, like imagine Mercedes saying the S-Class is going to be all electric now, but still that's a little different because Mercedes is not known to be that. You know what I'm saying? They're fast.
Go with but M6. Let's say they said the M6. BMW said the M6.
They're going to go all electric. Only exclusively. There'll be some BMW folks that are going to be hurt. Me ain't going to do much for me. I don't care. But the BMW enthusiasts. They might be hurt by that. And I can see Maserati enthusiasts, losing a little hope when it comes to that.
We both just did. It was written on your face clearly when I said it. You kind of like you had to take it in for a second. And that's
take it in and think like, hold on, wait. Yeah.
Yeah. When I heard it, I was like, huh? why would you do that? Like, don't do that. Like, why? It's too late, but why are you doing this? Like,
can we think, hey, can we have a board meeting? So like, let's talk about this.
Right.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah, man. But I believe it probably is the future. You know, you hear little rumblings and stuff where people are making comments and saying by 2035, everybody's going to have to be on board with the electric cars, and they're going to try to eventually become that exclusively being the thing in the world.
Yeah,
but it's like
I can't see it being exclusively a thing because there's so much money to be made in oil that you can't. And I might be naive by saying this because ain't no telling where the world's going to go in the next 10, 20, 15, 30 years or whatever. But to think them giving up gas-powered motor vehicles is completely, and the way how much money they make is, I can't fathom it. I can't fathom it. I can't see oil fields being shut down because there's just not enough use for fuel anymore. That particular fuel.
Yeah. You know, it makes it hard for me too because there's other tech that's out there that's not being used. I don't know. I'll save it. I kind of wish you would have saved that for a little later in the conversation because that would have been a good segue into where we'll end up going later in the talk.
We'll circle back.
Yeah, we'll circle back because I agree with that point that you made. But I don't know, man. I'm not ready to give up. And this is where we're old school Neanderthals. I still want to hear that engine. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to hear some rumble. I may not want every vehicle in my yard to rumble, but you want to have something in your collection that rumbles. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, look, we've had that experience. You know what I'm saying? And to put that Maserati in that mode of that engine really going, like you can toggle back and forth till you can really pick up that engine, and just to feel that engine, it was nothing like it. It was nothing like it. Yeah. And I can't see them not having it. And I know Tesla does this, or it's another brand that does this too, where they have the audio sound and try to give you the feel. They try to simulate it.
Yeah.
That can't be the same. And I can see them maybe doing that, like having some kind of simulation of that engine and give you that feeling and that sound. But I can't. It's you're gonna miss that authenticity of it. You just are. Like, there's no way that you can completely duplicate that feeling that natural engine's going to give you.
Right. Like, I don't care how fast your electric car moves. I want to hear that rumble. I don't want my car's testosterone free. I want it to rumble, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, so is this, we talk about emasculation and them trying.
This is the emasculation of cars. Don't neuter my car. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Is that what's happening now? Are you attacking are we attacking the cars now? That very fabric of American muscle, Italian muscle, European muscle, that now we gotta nix that?
Yeah.
Come on, don't tell me that.
That's over there quiet, like making no noise. Like,
yo, and that's wild.
Obedient.
Okay, so we have this electric vehicle at work, right? When we have to maintain our vehicles. And I went out to go check the vehicle. We call it PMCS, and so you're doing your vehicle checks. And I checked the vehicle, and the battery's dead. And now this keeps happening. And I'm thinking that whoever is checking the vehicle, they turn the vehicle on and turn it completely off. Because when I went to go jump this vehicle to get it going, it's a hybrid, right? It's like, all right, hook the cables up, boom, boom, boom. Turn it on. Okay, we're getting lights. Lights are on. Great. So we're getting power. All right, let's make sure the engine's going. Let's make sure it's ready to turn on. Because, you try to jump a car, sometimes you'll get the power, but then the car won't turn, right?
Right.
And hit the button. I'm like, oh, man, maybe something's wrong with the cables. It's not getting power. Let's put some gas on the other car. See, like, whatever we can do to try to get this car going. Like, give it some energy. Come to find out this whole time, 15 minutes later, the car has been on. Had no idea the car was actually running. It's that quiet.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
Oh, And that's probably why it keeps dying, because people keep thinking that the car is off when it's actually on. And you're killing the car because you don't know that the engine shut down, that you can turn the car all the way off now. And I think that's what's happening. We are, you know, that feeling that when you hear that engine go, man, there's something about it. And to take that away and not to attack Maserati, going too far.
Yeah. I want my lion in the jungle roaring and scaring everything in sight. Not just sitting there quiet like rah. Just scared. The hyena's just walking up on him because he just that's all he got. Stuff's supposed to move when I come through. Like your car's supposed to be like that, man. I need to hear that ground shake. You need to put a little tremble in my chest. You know what I'm saying? If I'm a lion, I see that hyena got to have a little tremble in his chest. I'm hey, look, don't try it. Don't try it. Yeah. And when your Maserati pull up, everybody need to feel it in their chest also. People need to be looking out their windows like, who is coming into the neighborhood right now? Like, this is... Shoot.
Oh, man. Maserati, we got to talk about this. Now that we're going deep into the conversation, I'm like, we got to... No, man. No. Not the Quattro. Leave it classic. And I'm one of those car purists now. Like, I don't even like rims on certain cars. Like, if I see a Benz and you customize it and put, I'm like, nah, man. We got different wheels for that. You know what I'm saying? We got different wheels. If you ain't like the stock wheels that came with it, upgrade your wheels. Those gotta be Mercedes wheels though, man. Like I'm a purist in that. And I feel like Maserati should do the same. If you're gonna go electric, dedicate an electric vehicle. Like start from the ground up with another vehicle. Don't change your not your flagship. Not your flagship.
Yeah. Or if you are going to add it to the flagship, then you need to just have the original steel and then with your E version of it. You know what I'm saying? Your electric version of it.
I agree.
This is what I will ask you, because like you touched on something earlier with Maserati, which is interesting. You're not known for your tech like that. You know what I'm saying? And for that, a lot of these luxury cars ain't really known for their tech like that. You know what I'm saying? Once you get into that world, if these luxury vehicles are going to start trying to enter the electric world, are they going to have to they're going to have to catch up some ground on their tech? Because you're now giving up your advantages.
I think so. In order to be competitive, because as we've seen, and now we're going to a little bit more car talk, we've seen with what used to be our luxury vehicles, your badge is not going to mean everything forever. You can't survive on your badge alone. Yeah. You're going to have to be innovative. You're going to have to keep up with the times. Your badge only... Yeah, Lincoln and Cadillac. Like we've seen it. Cadillac is catching up. Even Lincoln, they're catching up now. But for a while, they were sleeping. They were quiet. Even Lexus is catching up. And we give Lexus a hard time. They're catching up now. But we've seen that those big badges that we've known before have fallen off completely, because they didn't keep up with the times. And now we're seeing Kia. Yeah. We're seeing Hyundai.
Try to muscle their way in.
Yeah, because he's like, okay, we don't have the badge like they have, but we can jump in on that technology and we can kill them on technology. And now people have to look our way. They have to pay us attention, So now by them being cutting edge, they garner that attention. And now those legacy badges kind of fall back a little bit because they're just relying on being that strong brand. Yeah, that name. Yeah. And we've seen that's not enough. It's not enough.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. Us that love Maserati, we love it. But outsiders of that, a lot of outsiders is like, why? The same thing we say about BMW. If you can afford a BMW, why not get a Benz? That's how people feel about Maserati. If you're not a Maserati fan, that's how they tend to feel. Like,
so like, why am I spend $100,000 on this? Why go spend $100,000 on something else?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's not going to give me all the tech that I want. I mean, granted, like I'm at that age and point of all the tech and all those little trinkets don't mean as much to me as the details, the the attention to those small things. Yeah, those quality things. That stands out a whole lot more to me. Like we sat in that Levante and we looked at like, man, the details here and there. Like that's what I paid attention more so than whether it had a full console of technology here and had the interior lights and LEDs here that did all of these things. And I waved my hand and the door open. Those things are cool and cute and everything. But I don't, those like little small detail things are what catch me. Even with my small Benz I have now, like I'll catch like little details I didn't even notice. I have to watch my car. Like, and they had this little stitching over here. Oh, that's dope. That's what I love. Yeah. That's what I love more so than all the tech. But as we progress, there's going to be more people who hold more attention to the tech and say the tech matters more than those little small quality details.
Yeah. You're only going to get one or the other in most cases. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. There's only so much they're going to put into your car that they can, the budget will allow. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, time and money. So which one do you want? Time and money. You're going to put it in the tech or you're going to put it into the little details. Now, there's a lot of other cars, like when you get into the Maybach lines. You sent me one yesterday that was ridiculous. The Lando Lay G-Wagon.
Yeah.
That got
crazy,
both.
Right?
That got both.
But what that run you?
I can't remember the price point. It was what, $1 million? It was $1 million. It was $1 million. I remember that.
To get both. Yeah.
That was $1 million. That's Bugatti prices. Come on now.
Yeah. and Bugatti don't got both. Truth be told.
Truth be told, yeah. Yeah. They like it when I check if you ask me. They put it in that engine and they put it in the details. Other than that, that's what you're gonna get. Mm-hmm. All right, man. We about halfway, man. We at the halfway point.
Let's do it.
All right, so I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna go first. So our first light, I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't the most pleasurable first light. So automatically I started to be like, okay, here we go. It's about to let me down, right? The taste right off the palate had some bitterness and some oil and some leather, which wasn't favorable, but quickly it dialed back, and I was like, okay, this is not bad. Till we got to that point. So now getting through with the first third, where we're almost at the tail end of that first third, the cigar is kind of settled. A lot of thick smoke, which I enjoy, and it is pleasurable. What I would say that is lacking right now is that aroma. The aroma is not hitting me, and it's not a pleasant aroma. But the cigar itself is not bad, but it's just the extras that I love in most of my cigars. It's not hitting that notch just yet. So I'm not getting the aroma that I want. And I gave it the cedar. Off jump. So I was just with the cedar plus the cigar. If the cigar had good aroma in it, it should be enhanced. It should be hitting me right now, but it's just not. So I'm not mad at it. I'm not wowed by it. But at the same time, the things I didn't like at the very beginning, they've dissipated. And I'm actually enjoying the cigar right now at the halfway point.
Okay. I would say for me, at first light, it was pleasurable, but not super pleasurable. It was just like, it was cool, but it wasn't like the best light ever, you know what I'm saying? But it was far from a bad light, you know what I mean? It was just a solid light. It was a real kind of mild, but flavor off the initial lighting, but it did have that thick smoke that you talked about. I have been picking up on that. Now, for me, what I experience is a lot of earthy notes, a little bit of pepper. I didn't pick up on any, and it's interesting you brought this up. You mentioned bitterness. I didn't pick up on any bitterness initially, but at a point through it, there was a little bit of bitterness that I picked up on throughout it.
Okay.
But then that kind of dialed back at a point also. And on the retro hill, I picked up on like a little bit of like a very mild sweetness on the retro hill that's noticeable unless I retroed. And it's been very toasty, a lot of toastiness throughout the entire smoke though. That's one of the main things.
I'm getting that too.
And that's pretty much where I'm at so far. As you can see, we're getting close to the second third here. So I'll be entering that shortly, and we'll see where we go from there. But that's what I got so far.
All right, cool. All right, Brickhouse.
Now, you said something about you can't see the oil game going away, you know, with how much money it brings in. And I said, I wish you to say that for a little later, because what I want to go into is there was in the past, I don't know, I think I talked to you about this before. There was a water car, a guy who invented the water car like back in 1998. So he had created a replacement for it. And with the water car, you can go do your research on it yourself, people, if you're listening to it. I forgot the guy's name, Sam something, but look up water car. They got video of him on the news, and the news was showing his story and stuff. And he was about to patent this water car. He had created this part that you can add to any car, any vehicle you own it, and it will allow you to use water. And basically, off a full tank of water, you can drive the car from New York all the way to LA. The part is guaranteed for a lifetime. It will never go bad. You can use water out your water hose. You can use water from the rain. You can use beach water. Any type of water whatsoever is usable for this part. And he was like, hey, guys, I solved the oil crisis. Don't worry about gas no more. This is in like 1998. And
really?
And on the news, they were like, hey, this guy's got this part. And the CIA said they're interested in meeting with him, and they'll be meeting with him soon. It happened. He had a meeting set up to meet with him and discuss his invention. You know, they were interested in doing business with him. And he was having dinner with his brother the night before. And he grabs his chest, gets up, runs out the restaurant, says, someone poisoned me. Falls out and dies in the street the night before. All his patents that he had written up, all his blueprints of his inventions and everything was raided and now missing out of his apartment where he lived at. None of it could ever be found again, how he invented the water car.
I had a feeling that this is where the story was going. I had a feeling. I was like, yo, this CIA wanted to meet with him? Did he end up missing? That was my initial question. Did he end up missing?
No, he ended up dead. He ran out and said someone poisoned me while he was having dinner in a restaurant.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's way too much oil money being made. We got whole elaborate cities and whatnot built off of this oil money. You know, look at Dubai, man. Come on, how you think Dubai was built? Mm-hmm. Them boys is making the money. You know what I'm saying? And even in even in this country and other countries, so much money and revenue is being made. I feel like there has to be some kind of system in place to where they're dealing with these electric car companies and say, we're only going to let you go but so far. We're only going to let you go but so far. And the money that's being generated in electricity, I'm pretty sure they want a piece of it.
Yeah.
There has to be some kind of regulation and something that the powers that be are allowing them to go to a certain point, but then also saying, hey, we're going to take some money off the top. You cutting into just think about it. We talk about the job. We talk about crypto and how like that's affecting stocks and stuff like that. And hey, look, we got to have these regulations. I was going to go off the deep end and talk about the drug game. I've been watching a lot of mobster and mafia shows over the last few months, and that's where my mind is at. But it's like, hey, look, if you're gonna cut into my supply, say what?
You ain't have to go that deep crypto. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
legal.
Keep it on legal. Legal? Maybe. But no, it's like, you know, they only let it go but so far and cut it to their bottom line. But so much. Because the rich got to stay rich and the poor got to get poor. And we can't let these other companies chop it to our game. Now, especially that is directly, not to say that they're just making money. And no, we can't let them make money. Now, we can't let them be AMC and GameStop and just let poor people make money. No, them making money is cutting into your money. So the more electric cars that come out, that means the less gas-powered vehicles are being operated. Which means, okay, we can only supplement gas prices so much that $4 gas is only going to go but so far. So it has to be some leverage in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, man. So it makes sense to me. when you say that. But that also segues me into something else here that I'd heard in the news. And there's a former government official, and I really should have been more prepared for this story. But look up, if you're interested, Google the whistleblower speaks out on UFOs, whatever. I'm going into some alien talk. I don't think we ever done this before on the show. But anyway.
Start out on it. Let's go.
He's supposed to been pretty high power, a high level official. And he's like the highest level official that's ever come out and said, yeah, man, we've been working with a lot of alien technology for a long time. And he was like, does the government have, somebody asked him in the interview he was doing, does the government have any like UFO vehicles? He was like, yes, a lot. We've studied a lot of them. We have access to a lot of them, and we've been building our technology based off a lot of them. It's a whole lot. So he's like the first person to really make it official that there's something else out there we've interacted with. Now, he didn't say, from what I heard in the interview, of specifically like, oh yeah, we're dealing with little green guys. He didn't say that, but he's saying,
right,
yeah, there's some vehicles that ain't from this planet that we discovered that's crashed, and yeah, we've been studying them. Like, we got access to them. We've been studying their technology and reusing it in our own technology to this day. In a sense, makes sense if you think back all the way back to the 60s, from 0 BC. Matter of fact, go back to whatever AD, however far back you want to go in time, to that AD to 19, whenever the Roswell thing happened. Look how slowly technology advanced. And then look how quickly from the 60s forward it happened. We hit the moon and we back ever since then. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's just, well, yeah. Some people don't believe that. Some people believe that the moon is as real as my backdrop. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like, it just, they think the moon landing was made in the same place. But I don't know, man, but I get into this to ask you, man, do you think that there's any possibility that, the whistleblower could be telling the truth, or you think he's just some guy that's mad with his job and want to get some notoriety off of it?
You know what? It's hard to say no.
He quit to become a whistleblower. Like, hey, I had enough. Let me just.
Okay, so this is what I'll say. It's hard to say no, but then it's hard to say yes. I do believe, right? Because believe half of what you see, none of what you hear, right? Mm-hmm. But if it was true, how long would he be allowed to say this before the CIA or somebody, one of them alphabet boys comes in and says, "No, we're going to shut this down. You ain't going to be talking much, none." I mean, because everything we do is being monitored, especially if it's an article written, a video being made on YouTube. Somebody's seeing something. This Big Brother is watching, right?
Get this. Mm-hmm. If him saying it, why even step in? Because the average person is going to say he's some kook.
Right. So just let him go ahead and talk.
You kill him, you validate him. Yeah, we ain't going to believe him anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that makes sense. So now that he's already said something, now if he disappears, now what he's saying has some validity to it. Because why would you mess with this guy if we do something? So then that also makes it hard too. That makes it hard, like, to say, okay, that puts you at a tough spot to say what he's saying is valid, is true, or if it's not. That still leaves a lot of gray area, which I don't know, man. I don't know. Because, like, you can't, like you said, now that he said something, you can't do anything to him. Because now if you do something to him, he disappears. Whatever happened to that guy? Now that just alludes to, there's something that you have to cover up because his information's already gone out.
Yeah. Dude's viral already. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, so now we leave him. Now it's just part of the conspiracy theorist or whatever. He'll just fall into that category.
Conspiracy. Yeah. Just another conspiracy, So it's better to go quiet in that situation. But now you just left with, do I believe this guy or don't I believe this guy? You know what I mean? Like,
so I would say, my personal beliefs. Do you want my personal belief?
I want your personal belief. Is there something else out there, or is in this massive universe, it's just us?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I wish I had. I wish I could sway one way or the other. But I'm really, I've been torn. You know, I am somebody who I don't necessarily think that everything that people talk about is a conspiracy. But I'm one of those people who, if I see it on the news, could it be true? Could it be not? I don't necessarily believe much of anything. Not saying I'm a conspiracy theorist, but that whole, what I just said before, believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. I'm that type of person. Even if it is on the news, or even if it says, hey, we did this and we went blah, blah, blah. I didn't see it. I wasn't in the room. I wasn't a part of it. I don't know what happened. So I take news and I take reports like that with a grain of salt. It could be true. It could not be true. I don't know. So I always play a tough position when it comes to that. Not saying I'm a conspiracy theorist to say, oh, 9/11 didn't happen and this was said. Yeah. I'm like, it could go either way.
Yeah. You ain't shocked at whatever the answer turned out to be, where you stand.
I'm not. That's pretty much, if I said if you want my idea, that's where I'm at. It's like, it could be whatever. It could be whatever. And I won't be shocked.
Way to be as a black person. You know what I'm saying? We just shouldn't be shocked at anything in this world. You know what I'm saying? And that's a good stance to have.
Like you hear something on the news. Did it really happen? I didn't know this person. Did this person really die in this fashion? I don't know. I have sympathy. I have understanding and reasoning. But do I truly buy into everything I hear? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I can only know what I see. Half of what I see. You know what I'm saying?
That's pretty much my stance on the idea of like life somewhere else. I don't know. Like I'm open that it makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
it could be possible.
It makes sense.
Just life in general is shocking to me. Just the fact that I'm here. Like, how did I end up here? I don't know. How you end up here? How did this whole thing? We don't know.
Yeah.
So nothing does shock me. So if 10 aliens from 10 different planets come show up on my doorstep tomorrow, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, this is what it is.
This is real. You know? Okay, yeah.
Okay, that was real. That was real.
Yeah, and that's for me. You know what I'm saying? I get all the logical reasons. You know, it's a lot of different galaxies out here with their own suns and their orbit. And, you know, there's got to be a sweet spot somewhere else amongst all these billions of stars.
We can't be the only life. Like I wouldn't be shocked if we weren't the only life, but at the same time, I don't know it, so I can't say for sure. And I'm not going to be like, yeah, there definitely is life in other areas. No, I don't know. Yeah, maybe this was the chosen planet for life to be what it is, and for me to be here.
Right.
I don't know.
If I found out that we were here alone, I'd be like, that's what we always believe. You know what I'm saying? Okay, cool. Like,
who's the goat on your planet? Like what I would ask is, who's the goat on your planet? Right? Do you have a Michael Jordan? Did y'all have a Michael Jackson up there? Did he moonwalk too?
Right? Could he moonwalk?
Those are the questions I would have.
Or is it called something else? Is it Jupiter walking? Where you from? What y'all call it? Like, hey, but you know what though? Like, I'll say this: if something exists somewhere else. All that little gray guy talk, I don't believe that. I believe whatever it is probably look.
They might exist similar like us.
Yeah, it's 4 fingers and like they got Simpsons fingers instead of 10. You know what I'm saying? But they look like us. Like I don't buy into that whole all these.
They look like these aliens. And they eyes glow and all this weird stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all fantastical. You know, comic book stuff to me, man. You know. But maybe, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know enough about how planets work. You know what I'm saying? How life forms would evolve in different planet environments.
And you know what? Maybe we'll live long enough to find out. We are really at this technological turn. We talked about it a little bit on the last episode or a couple episodes ago. We are really at this turn of the times. So we might be in that realm of being able to find out very soon and very shortly. Who knows, man? Because like you said, from the 60s to now, how much stuff has changed and grown, the exponential growth of things, it is wild. It is mind-blowing. Mind-blowing.
Right. Yeah.
All right, man. But
If the government decides to share that information.
Yeah. So we're at the point where we got to wrap these up, man.
Yeah. You want to go first?
I'll go first.
I got it. Check it out. My Brickhouse, right? Okay. I'll go first. We'll go with the classic, right? Because for me, it hasn't a whole lot changed for me. Since then, I have picked up on a little bit of woodiness that's starting to pick up within the stick that I'm noticing. And maybe cocoa, coffee type thing. I haven't quite totally got into it yet, but that's starting to pick up also. But and the pepper is dialed back at this point in time. But earthy, toasty, and what I just say now, earthy, toasty, and woody. That's what's kind of coming up a little bit with something with a little bit of a cocoa coffee type taste to it. It's starting to kick in for me. But that's the only thing that's changed. I would say I give this particular stick, Brickhouse Classic, let's go 3.8 out of 5. 3.8 out of 5.
Okay. Which is actually pretty good.
Close to
Shout out to Brickhouse. Shout out to Brickhouse. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go. And I've given Brickhouse the hardest time of any cigar, even Gurkha. So the Brickhouse Maduro. First thing I would say is the thickness of this smoke. And I even caught myself watching the smoke come off the cigar, and it was a thing of beauty. Probably my favorite characteristic of the cigar is the thick smoke and just watching how this guy burned. Overall, the aroma, you lost me there. There's not much to rave about, which is one of those things I do look for. But then the taste. The taste wasn't bad. I was expecting a little bit more bite to come back, which it came back a little bit going into that second, third. So the bite and the bitterness came back. Probably the best part of the smoke was that first third. I'm curious to see how it finishes, and it kind of reminiscent of when I had my bad experience with the stick. Going back, remembering like it wasn't bad off the first go, but then as it burned down, it kind of gave me that feeling, and I started getting there a little bit. I don't know if it's just in my head or if it's what's happening with the cigar, but it's getting into some flavors that just aren't as pleasurable to me. But overall, up until this point, not the bad smoke. I can see myself smoking a cigar while I'm on a barbecue pit, kicking it, whatever. It's not a cigar I'm going to pick up because I want to go sit by the water and really enjoy my time and have a great cigar. Doesn't turn me off completely, but it's not one of those favorite flavors that I'm looking for. So out of 5, I'm going to give this cigar a 3.5. So we're going to get it in the 3s. But yes, 3.5 on the cigar.
Lives in the 3s, y'all. Hey, that's the Gurkha episode. Not the Gurkha. This is the Brickhouse episode, which is also the Jason Williams episode. But it's half white chocolate, half other Jason Williams. We somewhere in the middle of the two Jason Williams. Yeah, there you go.
It wasn't the Dikembe Mutombo. We ain't rejected.
No, we ain't rejected. Hey, we appreciate y'all for tuning in this week's episode of Cigars and Everything Else podcast. We out.
Cigars up.